I am still here somehow, and we have made it to Green Lanterns issue 50, which is the big finish to the Emerald Twiglets trilogy. You can't see it on camera, but this cover is printed. It's like you can feel it. I don't know how you would describe what this is really. It's like this cover is ribbed for pleasure. This is a good comic, and here is a wonderful splash page of Green Lanterns, Jordan Albert being evil. I love this image. This is the story where Green Lanterns gangs evil, and he has taken a bunch of Green Lanterns' rings from other Green Lanterns, and now he is ganning to gang and beat up the Smurfs. But them dastardly Smurfs, they have resurrectioned Green Lantern's arch enemy, Mr. Sinister, to try and stop him. Mr. Sinister, he is wearing a cape and a costume that I didn't think he ever wore anywhere else. Most of this issue is really well done fight sequences. Here with Mr. Sinister, and then later on with the racist alien whose name I refuse to say, lest I be accused of giving commands to my humble parish. This is Ron Marz girl doing the writing, and Dime Bank Darryl doing the art. Ron Marz girl is a tosspot, and he is very happy to write comics that are like the least amount of work. And there is some element of that even here. This and the previous issue are just fights, but at least it is enjoyable here, and there is some overall character stuff going on. Some people would insist it is the worst character stuff ever because Green Lanterns, the Jordan Albert version, he is going full on evil and totally insane. But most of them people either only like Jordan Albert because of John Jeffries, or because they are too busy reminiscing about mediocre Silver Age stories. In fact, I was thrilled to learn that the next Green Lanterns writer, the writer after Van Morrison finishes, the next Green Lanterns writer, he thinks Jordan Albert is rubbish too. He even echoes my sentiment that the only time Jordan Albert became an actual character, and the only time he was interesting, was when he went evil. And I thought, maybe this guy, he will be the Green Lanterns writer for me. But then I checked and he had me blocked on Twitter, likely from a block bot. So, fuck him. He'd mass block people who potentially agree with him just because of an association or because I follow someone else. And anyway, I think all his opinions, they seem to be entirely based around this pathetic cry for attention and to be seen as a crusader. All of his Jordan Albert opinions are attached to irrational screeching about Alvin Stewart being the best Green Lanterns, and Alvin Stewart being the only good Green Lanterns, and Alvin Stewart being the best thing ever printed. He wants you to know he likes black people. Also, he is dismissing every other Green Lanterns. He is dismissing Kyle Reese. He is dismissing Gary Gardner. He is dismissing them 2 new diverse ones. He is dismissing that lass from that book that I buy, despite never reading. He is dismissing the original, John Scott. All to make a point about how Alvin Stewart is progressive and the only acceptable Green Lanterns. I mean, I like Alvin Stewart. I like them Alvin Stewart comics, the Steve Engeltine run. They were the ones that got me into Green Lanterns. I think Alvin Stewart is a good character. Alvin Stewart is great in them issues. And Jordan Albert, he is flat out terrible in them. He is a bitter, insecure jerk who is abusive towards his girlfriend and always angry, which is all the more reason that I think this take here, him ganning evil, it isn't remotely out of character. Alvin Stewart isn't my favourite Green Lanterns, but I would definitely take him, our Jordan Albert. Alvin Stewart, he has a character, whereas Jordan Albert, his only character in my eyes is that he is a wanker. This is a really great fight with Mr. Sinister, really long, and this is pushing Jordan Albert to the edge. People misunderstand this story a lot. They think that it was like a flip of a switch and Jordan Albert went mental and started killing everyone straight away. And it's not that at all. It is a descent. If the Smurfs didn't ignore him, if the Smurfs allowed him to grieve, if the Smurfs didn't keep sending his friends and his allies after him, this whole thing would not have happened. And then Mr. Sinister, he is like the final tipping point, really. Jordan Albert, he sees that these righteous Smurfs are hippos' crates. They are so selfish that they would resurrection the biggest villain possible just to stop Jordan Albert from getting to them. And Mr. Sinister, during this fight, he is goading Jordan Albert on. He is joking about how he came back and how the Smurfs trust him more. And he is mocking Jordan Albert for not being able to actually deal with things and kill someone like him. So then we have the big breaking point. Jordan Albert, he snaps Mr. Sinister's neck. And now that he has killed, he goes off the rails. There is nothing holding him back now. He has taken a life and crossed the barrier he hadn't crossed before. Which leads us to one last round of fisticuffs with the racist alien. The racist alien, he refuses to stand down and let Jordan Albert get to the Smurfs. So during this fight, Jordan Albert, he lashes out and he ends up killing the racist alien. And realising how far he has fallen, he throws away his Green Lantern's ring, and then he finally confronts the Smurfs. And this whole bit is underwhelming. If there was ever an underwhelming resolution to Summit, this is it. After 3 issues leading up to this moment where Jordan Albert faces the Smurfs, it seems disingenuous to not have Jordan Albert actually do that much or even say that much to them. Instead, he walks into the big Green Lantern's power battery and he absorbs all the Green Lantern's energy, and this kills all of the Smurfs, barring this one here, who they elect as a survivor to try and carry on their legacy. And this action, it also depowers all of the Green Lantern's rings out there. And this is what I think would have killed a bunch of other Green Lanterns. Their Green Lantern's rings would stop functioning in space and they would die that way. They would suffocate. I didn't think Jordan Albert really considered that or had much serious contemplation of the consequences here. He was angry, he was raged, and he felt that, well, he had just been forced to kill two people, one of which was a friend. He wasn't thinking about other people here, he was just thinking about himself and his fury. And so this is how they would have died if they died. But no, idiots who want to condemn this story, they decided that Jordan Albert, he just killed people with his bare hands before the fight with Mr. Sinister. And here is our fantastic redesign for Jordan Albert. He has gone evil now, so he gets a new look. Later on, he wears a cape. He has absorbed all of the Green Lantern's energy into himself. And how is this for symbolism? He stamps on his hard Green Lantern's ring. Oh, what an obvious meaning. And we tease the future direction of the book with the one surviving Smurf. He creates one Green Lantern's ring and he guns to Earth to find someone to be the last Green Lantern's. And yes, it is that random dude we were introduced to at the end of issue 48 in a sequence on the beach that otherwise seemed arbitrary. So Kyle Reese, he becomes Green Lanterns and he will be the main Green Lanterns for years and the star of this book for over 100 issues. If you want us to look at his beginnings as Green Lanterns, you are out of luck. I didn't have them issues. I mainly only have the ones with evil Jordan Albert in them, and then some that I got for my Tiny Titans collection. Before we end though, we have a collection of pin-ups at the back which all spotlight Jordan Albert, and I would say that it is somewhat inappropriate considering the story that you have just read. But the main one I want to show is this one here by Paulie Pelletgun. And now Billy Joe Thornton, he loves Paulie Pelletgun. Paulie Pelletgun, he will draw some more Kyle Reese stories after this. I like this story. Other people didn't, but I think it is good. It is a rather compelling story about a hero's fall from grace. He hasn't been mind controlled or impersonated. He has just had a really bad day. It makes sense internally. He couldn't deal with his losses, and then he was pushed to the brink by the people who he had diligently served for years. It is a great story. It is a 7 thumbs up story.